I worked on it in 1979 during the Admiral's Cup yacht race. And in that year, it turned out to be an absolute horrible disaster. And what was happening that night, as the yachts were coming along, now, okay, we know that weather reporting was so much different then to what it is now. But at that time, when the yachts were, there is a bank, a sand bank called the Labadie Bank, and it's about halfway between Ireland and England. Very good fishing ground. When the waves move in onto shallower ground, even though the Labadie Bank is a couple of 100 feet deep, nonetheless, it's shallower than a lot of the water around it. So on top of the Labadie, the storm was extremely violent. So yachts that were caught up in that place at that time, they were rising away up 40 feet in the air. And then the wave would collapse beneath them. And the yacht would come charging down off the wave and crashing into the trough and the bottom. And of course, completely out of control. If the bow dipped in, the yacht would go head over heels, cartwheeling. If it was broadside on, the yacht would just flip over on its side, upside down, and come up the other way around again. And can you imagine being inside in the cabin, inside down below on the yacht when that's happening? The cupboards were breaking open. The bean tins, the tins of sardines, everything, they were like missiles flying around inside. Yachts people that were caught inside in that were getting the daylights battered out. They were bruised and battered any way you can think of. So we were listening anyway on the 2182. 2182 is the distress frequency. It's also the calling frequency on the medium wave radio. This was pre-VHF radio. So that's all we had. But these radios we had were very powerful. So we were able, you could easily hear a couple of 100 miles radius in it at nighttime. In the daytime, it would drop back maybe to about 150 miles. But at nighttime, the range of these radios was colossal. So we were able to hear without any difficulty all the mayhem that was going on. So yachts would come on, they'd put out their mayday, and they would say what happened to them. The others would come on and make a mayday relay, say they passed the yacht. No sign of any life or anything in the yacht, is just helplessly drifting there. It could well be that the people were still inside the yacht, but not coming out on deck. More people would come on and say, we've just passed the yacht and it's totally capsized and we can't see anybody in it. Somebody else would come on then and say, we're after passing another yacht and they're clinging onto the side of it. So a yacht could not stop to help another. So if you saw someone in difficulty, forget about helping him. Because if you did, you were then going to be needing help yourself. So you were just adding to the difficulty. That went on all night long. So all we could do was listen to it. I had called out the Baltimore lifeboat about 10 o'clock that night for a boat that had come near the Fastnet. Now, at that time, the sea was quite calm when the boat came out about 3 in the afternoon. But by 10 at night, the sea was raging. And I was watching that yacht, the lights disappeared, and I didn't know whether that small pleasure boat, I didn't know whether that was after capsizing, sinking. I didn't know what was going wrong with it. And maybe nothing. So I got the lifeboat launched for that. They never found it. And then I think it was around midnight or thereabouts that the yacht, regardless, got in difficulty about 1.5 miles southeast of the Fastnet. And once the rudder went in the yacht, and that's what was happening, the rudders were just snapping off them. The yacht was helpless and it would turn broadside onto the weather. So they streamed ropes from the bow of the yacht just to keep the head up to the waves. And the wind was blowing these yachts now right in our direction to the Fastnet. And they were only a mile and a half east of us, or southeast of us, which was too close for this to be happening. Anyhow, the Baltimore lifeboat finally caught up with it. The Navy were standing by, and they had regardless pinpointed. So the lifeboat was able to, there was about 15 yachts in the area. The lifeboat was able to take it on tow and tow it back into Baltimore. But that towing line parted about 5 times on the way in. That will give you an idea of how high the waves were. So that tragedy, yeah, it was an absolute desperate tragedy altogether.